Is it any good? Is it worth buying? That's the answer we'll hopefully give you by the end of this video. This is the iCarsoft MB version 3.0 tool made by iCarsoft, and I'm going to show you all of the features and functions and everything that you can do with this tool and some of the limitations that with the tool itself. Okay, the tool itself is available at Diagnostic World. It's www.diagnostic-world.com. I will put the link to this kit in the description below this video. There are fakes, there are clones, they can damage your vehicle, so it's really worth sticking with the genuine tools, and you'll get that by clicking the link below. Okay, so we're going to run through all of the features as I say. Right now we're in a 2015 Mercedes A-Class. It is a manual vehicle, this one. I appreciate that most Mercedes that these tools will scan will be the automatic transmissions, but this is a manual. It doesn't really affect anything for the purposes of this video though. So what you can see here on the dashboard is that we've got a couple of warning lights. We've got the check engine warning light, we've got the airbag warning light as well there, and we're going to use this tool to, first of all, what I'll do is I'll show you the diagnostic side of things. There are two main parts to this tool. Even though there are lots of icons, these are the top two main sections. So you've got your diagnostics, and this is where, it's not a touchscreen by the way, you need to use these buttons, but where you would go in and you would diagnose a fault. So let's say you had one of these faults, or a different warning light, or something wasn't quite right with one of the systems in your vehicle. This is the section you'd go into to actually diagnose the fault and hopefully reset the fault and get rid of any associated warning lights. This section here, the service section, is where you would go in to maybe do, like, if you need to do a little bit of coding, like injector coding, service functions like DPF regeneration, oil service resets, reset the warning lights on your dashboard for the oil, things like that, but it will all become apparent as I go through these. So what I'm going to do first of all is click into diagnostics and first of all show you that it will do Mercedes-Benz cars, Maybach, Smart and Sprinter vehicles. So what I'll do first of all is show you the vehicle coverage, okay? And we'll go vehicle select. There are two ways to find your specific vehicle. You can either select it manually from the system, which is what we've just selected, or you can ask the tool to automatically find it for you. So we've got 107, these are the chassis codes. So we've got 107, 124, 126, 201, 168, 169, 176, 177, 190, 290, 298, 242, 245, 46, 47, C202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 215, 216, 117, 118, 203, 208, 209, 218, 219, 257. I'll stop seeing them because it's probably becoming quite annoying. You can clearly see them on screen. But if you do need to pause the video at any point just to double check that your vehicle is covered, then feel free. Some of those, like older Mercedes-Benz, you will need to use one of these adapters as well. This is a 38-pin iCarsoft adapter. I'll pop a link to this in the description below as well. Yeah, so that was the Mercedes side of things. Don't forget we've also got the Maybach Smart and Sprinter. It doesn't do, it only does the 240 for the Maybach. We'll go into the Smart. I need to come out of that, sorry. Vehicle select, there we go. So these are the Smart vehicles. And then finally we'll get into the Sprinter menu and we'll start showing you some serious stuff. So these are the Sprinters that it covers. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll go back one step further, go back to the diagnostics, and I'll show you this tool actually automatically finding the vehicle. So you can go VIN identity, click enter, and it'll read the VIN number. Most cases it will find the VIN number. Some vehicles like Sprinters, I think it can't read the VIN, so you have to do it, you have to select the vehicle manually. And then what you'll do is you get into this screen here where it shows you 4 different options. So these two are quite similar. It'll do a quick test of the whole vehicle. This auto scan just basically scans the vehicle to see which systems are installed, and then it'll give you a list of the systems that it can diagnose. The control unit option is, it gives you a full list of a lot of systems. Not all of those will be diagnosable because, for example, in this car doesn't have parking sensors, so in this list it will give us the list of the, say, the Parktronic, for example, but it won't let us diagnose anything because it doesn't have those installed. And the service option, well, I'll come to that in a moment. What I'm going to do first of all though is go into the control unit, okay? And this, as I say, just gives you a full list of all of the potential systems we could diagnose here. So we've got a check engine light showing on the dashboard there, and I think that's a good place to start, because what I'll do is I'll just go in and see if we can diagnose and reset that. So we'll go read fault code. It's giving us a fault code, it's telling us there's 2, and it gives us a description of the fault. If you weren't necessarily sure what that meant, because let's face it, you know, we're not all trained sort of vehicle diagnostic technicians. You may not know what any of this means. And guarantee though, if you put these fault codes and the information into a Google search engine, it will tell you what the fault is, and it'll give you more information, and it will also, you know, give examples of how people have fixed it. Okay, so that is one thing to not worry about if you don't know what that means. Click on clear fault memory. Now watch this. If we click F1 to OK the clear faults, you're getting a message there to say fail to complete operation. That is because some vehicles, some of the newer vehicles, what you need to do is you need to turn the engine off before you can actually do the reset. So turn the engine off, but put the ignition back on, and then go back into it. So clear fault memory, click F1 to OK. This time it says operation done, and then if we start the engine, you should see the check engine light turn off, which it has done. So that's good news. We've also got the airbag light showing on there, so I'll show you that. And while I'm doing this, obviously this just gives you an indication of how the tool works when it comes to reading fault codes, clearing fault codes. You can see it's fairly straightforward. For this kind of thing, you don't need to turn the engine off. It's generally only the engine faults. So the airbag light is gone, erase operation done, which is good news. So I'm not sure how well you saw this list here, but what I'll do is I'll take you through from the start, and it gives you an indication of the type of things that it will cover. Like I say though, it all really depends on your vehicle, what's installed to your vehicle. Just showing you here. Parktronic, for example, that's showing in the list because some of these cars will have Parktronic installed, some of them won't. This one doesn't. So if we were to just click into that, we would just get a link error. Okay, so that is the type of systems that you could diagnose. Within these systems as well, you can do things like actuation tests. Okay, I'm trying to find something that would give us a good actuation test. An actuation test just basically tests a specific system. So instrument cluster, for example, we go to actuation test, and we can, let's go to indicator lamps. So we want to let's say we want to test to make sure all of the indicator lamps are working. So we go okay, and when I click F1 here, all of the warning lights should turn on. There we go. So that gives us an indication of which warning lights are actually working. Okay, and you can do the same. There's lots of different tests you can do, like the pointers, the needles. Do a needle sweep. Watch the needles. There we go. So you can just check to make sure they're working. And those are the type of actuation tests you can do in lots of different sections within the vehicle. Let's see, like left front door actuation test. So you got mirror adjustments, left power window. So although you won't be able to see this, hopefully this will work. It should just completely pull the window down. F1. Alright, so I've just tried to put the window up there. If I put F2 for down, there we go, it's putting the window down. Although you may not have heard that, it's done it in 3 different stages. You may have heard it, but you can't see it obviously. But what I'm doing now is I'm going up, I'm putting the window up. It's showing us information on the switches, and obviously the motor does work as well. So that's just an indication, as I say, of everything that you can do with that kind of thing. Now when it comes to the service items, right, we'll click on the service items, And these are the potential, as I say, potential service things you can do with this tool. So we've got oil service reset, electronic park and brake, electronic throttle calibration, steering angle sensor, DPF regeneration, ABS brake bleeding, injector coding, TPMS, suspension calibration for air suspension cars, air conditioning reset, and a few other transmission adaptations, a few other adaptations and coding options there. Now, what I would say, and I would sort of really highlight this, is that not all of these functions will work on every vehicle. You may get a list of, say, let's see, we've got 9 here, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17 functions in total. You may only get 6 or 7 of those working on your vehicle. So it's important to check these guys first to make sure that a specific service function will work on your specific vehicle, and the way you can do that is just email them. There's like an email address at the bottom there. If you go on the website, just click on the contact page and send them your VIN number, and they will check to make sure. Ask them which service, say to them which service you want, and they'll check to make sure that it is going to be suitable for your vehicle. A way to check this when you've actually got the tool, I appreciate you can't do this if you don't have the tool, but what you can do is you can go into Diagnostics, go in again and select your vehicle. So vehicle, actually VIN identify, found the vehicle, there we go. And then from this menu we go to the service. Remember I told you about the service menu earlier? So what this does is this brings up a list of those service functions that are applicable with this specific vehicle. Okay, just waiting. It's doing a quick test and a scan through. So remember we had 17 service functions, we've now got a list of 10, so it's telling us 10 of those special functions are suitable for this particular vehicle. Oil service reset, electronic park and brake, electronic throttle control, DPF, injector coding, TPM, air conditioning, body stability, engine control, and a few miscellaneous ones as well. Alright, so that is how the tool works in a nutshell. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I could show you. Updates, you need to plug the tool into a PC or a laptop, and that will you then download some software, and then you update it from that. You just take it through like step by step. What else? The tool itself is like £169. There are a few other variants of this tool. There's a version 1.0 and a version 2.0. This is the most expensive, but it is the best. You get a lot of functions that aren't suitable or aren't capable of doing certain things in certain vehicles on the version 1 and the version 2. You find this one is a lot better, and this one really does pack a powerful punch. So, you know, anybody who hasn't used one of these tools before, or you're thinking about getting one, you're not sure really what you're doing, you can't go wrong with a tool like this. You can't damage the tool, you can't damage the vehicle. It's all done on screen, very easy to follow menu system as well. So, as I say, one thing I didn't show you there as well is the live data. So I'll just go in again in identity. By now I'm kind of going back and forwards quite a lot, and it might give you a good indication of sort of how the tool works. So then we're going to go into view data. So we've got, let's say you wanted to find some DPF data, exhaust DPF, click on all of them, click done, and it's going to now show us live data from the DPF system. So you can do things like coolant temperature, engine speed, soot content of DPF, pressure differential, and then other DPF live data streams. Now it will differ from car to car, so you might have a C-Class which has 15 sets of live data for this. But one thing I would say is there are lots of different sections for the live data. So if you've got, like, let's see, if you've got a transmission, automatic transmission, you could go in and check the oil temperature if you were doing a pressure, an oil change in the gearbox. You've got your rail pressures, so again you just click 1, 2 to look at them all. There's lots of different sections. There's way more than what I'm showing you here, but it just gives you an idea that you can find live data as well. Okay, so I think that's about it. If there's anything else I'll try and mention it in the description of the tool itself. But like I say, guys, look at the link in the description below this video, because that will take you to the genuine and official product. There are fakes, there are clones. It can damage your vehicle. This one cannot damage your vehicle. It's an official product, and as such, it has really good software, and it does a whole range of functions, services for you. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this helps.